Hi everyone, I'm Jay.
I'm Colin.
And this is Star Wars Conversations. Hey, how you doing, Colin?
I'm alright, man. Pretty good.
You had an exciting week. There's some exciting stuff that happened this week.
Well, it's been an exciting Star Wars week, definitely. And obviously I went to MCM London on the weekend and caught up with a few
Wolverine.
people.
You were Cardboard Wolverine, yeah?
Cardboard Wolverine.
You looked very cool.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, it was good. It was very good. And caught up with one of the listeners of the show, Melvin Wong Kenobi.
Cool.
He was Daredevil. He was dressed as Daredevil, like the
with the
black outfit.
That,
yeah. So he's a very cool bloke. So who I actually met him originally at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago. So that's how I know the fella. So awesome. So that was good to catch up with him, and also caught up with a few other people. My old mate Paul, Ian Richardson. Spent a lot of time with him, and I met up with some of the LSCC and Beyond group. That was really cool.
Some of them listen to the show as well, don't they?
They do, yeah. And
they leave comments.
They do leave comments. So all good bunch. Lots of. I can't believe how much cosplay is at that convention. They fill up pretty much the whole of Excel with the 2 halls of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously people roaming around there. And then when you go outside, the whole of the outside is just covered in all these different people doing photographs and having meetups and stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yours was one of the best costumes, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Obviously, mine was the best one. Totally the best one.
Yeah.
They all had a vote and said, yeah, I was the best.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good.
They named me King of MCM.
Really? Cool.
Yeah,
that's
crown.
You get a crown, a set, and all that stuff. Did you? Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's it. Now you've made it, man. You've made it.
I have made it. So, next on my world domination list is Star Wars. So let's talk about Around the Rim.
Around the Rim. Well. So, 2 of your girlfriends got together recently.
Oh, that's why he's dodgy, isn't it?
Andy Gutierrez, or whatever her name is, and Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathy.
They're having a little chit-chat there on the old Star Wars show.
Well, it's always dangerous when they get together and compare notes, isn't it?
I don't know if they edited out the bits where they were talking about you. I think they might have.
I think they must have done. Well, it'd been a too long a show otherwise, wouldn't it?
Definitely. But then they started talking about this Star Wars malarkey, right? And Kathleen Kennedy had a few interesting things to say. Specifically, she talked about Star Wars movies that are they've got planned Star Wars movies for the next 10 years. And they talked about adventures with characters we know, such as Rey, Finn, Poe, and those type of characters. Now, what do you make of that, Colin?
Well, on the most basic level, that's not surprising, is it? They're gonna same way, but obviously not as densely when the original films came out. There'd be spin-off books and comics and stuff trying to expand on the story. So that's to be expected. I mean, we already had that, with the Clone Wars.
But she mentioned movies specifically.
Yeah, well, with the movies, there's a different kettle of fish. And so what it seems to me is, I mean, I was in no doubt in my mind that the saga wasn't finishing at episode 9 and that they would continue creating sagas. Now, my understanding was from previous interviews, they were talking about having a bit of a gap before any more saga films. Now, I don't know what they define as a gap, but if they're talking about within the next 10 years, then I would imagine the gap would have, to me, the gap would have been more than 10 years, but I think that's unrealistic in this day and age. So I reckon the saga films will start up again in about 5 years' time. So that could be what she means.
Do you think that,
however, I wouldn't put it past. Yeah. Well, it will be the next story set up, but it will the same way that, you know, the original cast had a role to play in the next story. So, I mean, again, I guess it's what we define as a saga story. I mean, to me, the saga story is the journey of the Luke Skywalker, Han, and Leia, and what's happening to their family as they develop and grow. So, as long as there's someone related to Darth Vader in this story, I would class it as a saga story.
Well,
if it's moving across story, but however, pardon,
the Skywalker saga, but Star Wars. I mean, you could go to the Old Republic. It wouldn't have to be related to Vader.
No, that's what I'm saying.
New trilogy and new saga, right?
Yeah, well, no, see, that's why I would disagree. I would say that they shouldn't do trilogies unless it's around moving the story forward now, with the carrying on the main narrative. And absolutely, they should go back and do the Old Republic and stuff and all that stuff. But it doesn't need to, or it can be defined as a trilogy, but not a saga trilogy. If you know what I mean. I think the key word there is the saga, and that's, I mean, the way I see any other film or anything else is they're independent. They don't need to be seen as part of the core story. Whereas anything classed as a saga, i.e. episode whatever, if it's got an episode prefix in it, then it's got to be really connected to this story. There's got to be a connection. It's got to be about the characters that we've seen from episode 1 through to episode 9.
I mean, the connection would probably end up being something like this. It's actually the story of the Force through the galaxy. I mean, because they could go back to the Old Republic. That is a historical, you know, so it's a long story, right? So it's the story of what, you know, the Jedi and stuff like that. So it would all connect in some way.
Yeah, it connects, but no, my view is the saga is about, as you say, the Skywalker family. Yeah.
So let's say Rey's not a Skywalker and Luke dies, right? Then there's no more Skywalkers.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Skywalker in name. I mean, like Kylo Ren is carrying on that family.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's the grandfather, grandson of Anakin.
Leia's Skywalker, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is, well, Leia's potentially not going to be in it, is she? But Kylo and Rey,
he's the son of Leia.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And also, ultimately, he's the grandson of Anakin, which is the more important bit. You know, someone that's really carried on that whole thing. So that's why I'm saying, if it's an episode, then let's call it episode. Then it should be moving forward the story of those. But I also think they will potentially have a Rey spin-off story. I mean, there was nothing to stop them from doing that, is there? Or Poe Dameron.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think there'll be, you know, as she says, she's looking at the next 10 years with stories including these characters? Do you think there's going to be a spin-off, like, let's say, a Poe Dameron spin-off where he's on a mission? Or do you think maybe these characters will turn up in another spin-off movie, you know, just as a side character or something?
I think it's going to end up very much like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where if you take the Avengers films as the episode saga films, and then all the heroes have their own films, I think that's potentially what will happen.
So you're saying,
and that's where I put to be honest, if I was doing it, that's what I would do.
So you build on the brand. A Finn movie, a Finn story, where maybe let's say at the end of this one, as an example, we could say Finn and Rose go off somewhere, and they've got a mission, right? And we don't see them again. And then we get a spin-off that's going to fill in the gap between this one and episode 9, showing Finn's mission, something like that. Is that what you think could happen? Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think it will happen before episode 9.
No,
I think after episode 9,
time, right? But it'll be like, you know when Finn was off, because then next time we see them, they're back. You're like, what did they? Where were they? And it'll be like,
but I think
they were doing this.
I honestly think they're going to turn it into the way the Marvel cinematic franchise is, where character, like Captain America: Civil War, that was effectively an Avengers film, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
And so you could have 4 or 5 different characters in one story, but it won't be a saga or episode film. It'd just be, because I don't think a Star Wars story thing is working. It'd be interesting to see how the
Han Solo film goes.
I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think that as a brand works.
No, I mean, it sounded better when it was just anthology. The Star Wars story just sounds a bit crap, doesn't it?
Well, they think people are thick and they can't look up what a word means. But
yeah, they do think that. Do you like the idea of it going that way? Then, if we say that that would happen, where there'd be the spin-offs for each character, just like the Marvel Universe, do you like the idea of that?
I think it's better than them coming up with retelling stories of people that I don't care about. I'd rather that than them just rehashing and trying to make stories out of nothing. Going back to like Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Yoda, and trying to force these stories that actually aren't needed and required.
Yeah,
I think there's two ways I'd love it to be moving forward concurrently. Then some of the stories would be about moving the story forward, same way that the Marvel films do. Every film builds on the previous film, and it's about moving the core story along.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, it's choosing really random periods and places in the whole Star Wars mythos, like the Old Republic, like setting something in the Outer Rim, like setting something on a particular one, and doing a Star Wars story that's got absolutely no connection to anything that we've seen in the episodes.
Yeah.
So a mixture of both of those would be amazing. That's what I would love to see. This continuing story moving forward, because let's face it, that's why I get annoyed with a lot of the comics and stuff, because they're just telling stories that I don't need to know.
Yeah,
they're fillers. They're trying to fill a gap because they're not allowed to talk, in the current continuity. So let the films do that. And then let the comics do the stuff around different places. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you with this, actually, because you're right. If they were going to do spin-off movies, like firstly, I think that Knights of the Old Republic, something like that, would probably be. They should do a TV series of that. I think that would be quite good. With a big budget, like a Game of Thrones size budget. Put everything into it. And with Disney getting their new channel, it's very.
Could do it, couldn't
chance that could happen. But as for the spin-offs, like with Han Solo, we've said many times, of course I'm going to go and watch it. I can't wait to see it. Now I know it's done and everything. But I never was calling out for a Han Solo movie.
No.
I don't really, even when they do it in the cartoons, right? I never wanted to know any more about Boba Fett's background. Because for me, the mystery of the character made him better.
Is what makes him.
Yeah,
that is what that character is about. Mystery.
Obi-Wan. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, an Obi-Wan movie, that'd be great." That's because they've said, "Hey, we're going to do an Obi-Wan movie." Now, given if you're going to do it, you want to do it while Ewan McGregor still can, because the guy was good. And there's a part of me that would like him to have the chance, just because the prequels weren't so well received and that kind of stuff. So let's see that. But really, if you think about the end of episode 3, between he hands over Luke to Beru there, and between 3 and 4, our understanding is that he's been on Tatooine, keeping an eye on Luke, and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, the comics kind of elaborated a little bit more. But now you've really got to come up with some story here. You've got to make some adventure for Obi-Wan, which
it's feels
forced. Yeah, that's right. Now, obviously, I've said I'd love to see Tam Posler's story.
Yeah.
But then let's look at that. You're looking at a character who was just a character you saw in the background somewhere in a spin-off movie, so he's not connected to any of that. Sure, his tail follows Evazan and Ponda Baba, but again, they were just side characters that we bumped into once, so they're still not connected to the greater the saga story, really. So that would be fine, something like that. or as you say, go to a different time period, an Outer Rim story. Maybe something is going on there. Maybe, as you talked about last time, something to do with the Chiss, and we can see something that later could tie into the saga. Like something could happen, and then they come into it later on. But that would be fine because we would get to have a whole new movie. It'll have that Star Wars feel because it'll still be in the galaxy. You'll still have the same kind of technology and the same kind of, you might run into someone who has the Force or all that kind of stuff. That could happen. So you still have Star Wars in there, but it won't affect the greater story. But also having these characters come up in side movies, have their own little spin-offs, and that could be interesting because then you do get the feel in a way that there was more going on with the Rebels, and then you get like people like me. I like the Imperials. Obviously, these guys are the First Order, but I'd have been interested to see a spin-off with the Imperials. So maybe you'll get something where one of them's on a mission, and you get a look more at the First Order and how they work, and you learn a bit more, and it just builds the galaxy a bit more, as the Marvel movies have done. So that would be a good way to do it, and definitely those two types of movies. And then you want to brand them slightly different, because the Star Wars story would be the ones that are not connected to this, I guess. They would be the ones that are just like, the Chiss or something, but it's a Star Wars story. And then these, you'd have to give them another kind of brand.
I'd just call it Star Wars Universe or something like that.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, these are things that I hope that something like that happens.
Or
I hope that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think they should take a leaf out of the books, in the Legends books, where each era had its own type. You had the Fate of a Jedi period of books, and then before that you had the I can't remember what they were called now. Rubbish. But like when you use
subtitles.
So they had a period, and all the books were under this title. And it was, and that reflects the era.
That'd be quite a good way of doing it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what I want from the films. To be honest, I'd love to see, because not all the books concentrated. They were all ultimately there was Han, Leia, and whoever in it, and Luke. But some of the books, were completely on their own.
Yeah, and then you had like the Rogue Squadron books and stuff like that, which followed them. Which again, that would be quite interesting to see what these guys are doing, and just get a little insight into their sort of missions and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, when you were just saying about the Imperials, there's nothing to stop there be a film about an Imperial base or set on a ship about an Imperial ship showing what happens on that ship.
I mean, because from the Imperials' point of view,
Imperial Discovery.
But right. But I mean, apart from say the Emperor and people, and of course there's all kinds of characters there. But we've seen that they don't all think that they're bad guys. They believe that they're doing the right thing. So it'd be interesting to follow one of their ships and get to know their crew. And I mean, that maybe would be more of a TV series thing as well. But I've always found it quite interesting to just see the lives of the stormtroopers. That really interests me for some reason,
Yeah.
And when I watch Imps and stuff like that, I always enjoy it because you get to sort of see what's going on with them. I like all that stuff. Anyway, I mean, but with all this, I'm surprised then that you haven't run this by Kathleen.
Well, where do you think she got the idea, Jay?
Oh, okay. So this was, I know they cut you other bits, and
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't like to take credit for what's happening, but all the things that I've been saying are happening, aren't they? So, what can I do? I can't help it if I've got all the good ideas.
So anyway, we talked about that longer than I thought we were going to.
It was good little conversation there,
Jay.
Jay.
Add to that, or are you done with that?
I did enjoy the actual interview though. I thought it was really interesting. I like obviously my two favourite girls having a good old chat. What's not to like?
So there was something else that dropped this week. It was a TV spot. So you've got the World Series going on at the moment on the baseball, and apparently this just appeared during the advert. No one expected it. There was no announcement that it was going to come. People were sitting there watching, and all of a sudden, they see Luke Skywalker if anyone hasn't watched it, actually, this is a spoiler because it's not it's not a spoiler because it's an advert officially released, so it's out there. But if you don't want to know anything, then we're going to talk about it now. But yeah, so obviously you see Luke Skywalker, and he steps onto the Millennium Falcon and switches on the lights. Cool. That was cool, wasn't it?
Very cool, man.
And it was another moment of pondering, which the sadness about it is that he'll never be on there with Han. And probably not with Leia either. But yeah, it was quite cool to see. It's good to see. I like how he's walking on with his hood up and everything, and walks in there, and it's all in darkness.
I mean, the one thing I say about this Awake what are we calling it? A trailer, TV spot?
No, it was a TV spot. It was 45 seconds.
It to me was much more linear in the Luke and Rey storyline, and that it seemed to just generally show that he begins training her and realizes that she's just so powerful.
Yeah,
I think that confrontation-ish thing that happens between them is basically Luke's giving up on trying to train, refusing to train her. I think that's how then she's going to get into mix up with Snooky Pants.
Right. So I mean, yeah. Well, we got to see. Let's sort of talk through it. I mean, we got to see Luke there at the beginning. Obviously, he walks onto the Falcon. Then we got to see Kylo Ren again, and he destroys his mask. And then you get to see Snoke in his that big red room. He's got 8 Praetorian guards surrounding him, and then you hear him say, "Darkness rises, and light to meet it." Which, what's that all about? What's he talking about there? No, you're shaking your head for listeners.
No, I don't know what he's on about. What is he on about?
I don't know. He's obviously talking about. Well, I think he's talking about Kylo, because that's the scene where Kylo is kneeling in front of him, right? Where he picks up his lightsaber, and then I wonder if he's talking about Rey as well there. Who knows? But it looked quite cool. The room looks really cool. You see the torture chair in the middle of the room, and then he's sitting there on his throne in his gold bathrobes, and and he's got his guards all standing around him. They look quite cool. There's 8 of them just surrounding the room. So I have a feeling that maybe Kylo might fight them there.
Well, do you think Snoke has actually got powers?
I do think he does, because in the previous trailer, we could see him with his hand reaching out in the background. He was behind.
So you think it's actually him doing that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, it just, to me, it just seems weird how he's got so many guards where the Emperor only had like 2.
Yeah, well, not when he was walking around. When he came off his shuttle, he had like 8 of them.
Did he?
Yeah. So he did go around with a whole bunch of guards. I mean, look, why fight when you can get someone else to do it for you?
Yeah, I guess.
Right? and also they can weaken your enemy, and then you can just take them out and be the hero who just beat the enemy. What else did we see? We saw the Millennium Falcon getting chased, and it gets its radar dish shot off by some TIE fighters.
And I love it when it bursts out of the thing.
Yeah, that was cool. That's all on Crate. I wonder if Crate's going to be near the beginning, or is it going to be like an end battle? Because Crate's where the Rebel base is, right? That's where they're going to be evacuating.
I think it's to be the end.
Right.
Could it be too like Empire otherwise?
Oh,
that beginning? Yeah.
Oh, then they might do it, Because aren't they meant to be... they've got a Rebel base there, aren't they meant to be evacuating it or something? Isn't that right? They're meant to be evacuating the base. Anyway, and then you got to see Finn. He was like in some kind of ship. He goes woo, and he's like dressed in some kind of pilot gear. So we're going to see Finn in a fighter, which is quite cool. From a sanitation stormtrooper to a fighter pilot, and in the Force Awakens, he didn't even know how to fly a TIE fighter.
No, because you have to get Poe to fly it.
Yeah. So now he knows. Now he's learned. I guess maybe Poe's trained him how to fly ships.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to be one of those B-wing skimmer type things. That'd be quite cool.
Well, that's what he looked like he was in. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was in that fight.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe he is. So yeah, we got to see a little bit more of Leia on the Radius, and then obviously there's the shot at the end, which is shot in a particular way for the trailer, and some people are saying part of it's reversed, right? So you've got Luke lying on the ground, and he says, "This isn't going to end the way you think it is." And then we get the shot of Rey. It looks like the same scene because you've still got like the rain and everything, and she's looking down, and she ignites her lightsaber. So the reason people are saying that it's reversed is to do with the way, if you see, she's holding it in her right hand,
the wrong way,
and she lights it, and then her left hand comes up to the bottom, and people are like, that's how you would drop your hand if you were going to put the lightsaber down, right? So it looks like they've reversed it. We don't know that for sure, but I watched it again. I was like, I mean, because once an idea is put in your head, then you're like, well, it could be that. You know what I mean? Like, if no one ever said it, you're like, yeah, she's holding a lightsaber. But once we say it and you watch it, you're like, yeah, maybe that is that. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, the thing is, if you were holding your lightsaber, you would probably pick it up with both hands. You wouldn't then bring one to it, and if you're going to put it down, you might drop one first, right? So that's where they're saying that looks like a reversed scene to make us think that something is going to happen there that quite well could not be happening, you know. So yeah, I mean, overall,
I don't know why they would want to intentionally mislead people in a trailer, though. That's the only thing I would question on that.
Yeah, there's probably not a bunch of guys sitting there thinking, how can we mess with everyone? But maybe they would do it if they don't want to give something away. I don't know. I mean, in that case, don't use that shot, right? Or maybe it happened that they wanted something to happen, and they didn't have the right shot for it, and so they just reversed the shot and put it in, and actually in the movie that is what happens, but they just had to reverse a shot or something. But yeah, so I mean, for 45 seconds, you got quite a lot packed in there, which was pretty good, especially as it's just a TV spot. What did you think of it overall? What were your favourite bits? What
so
didn't
exciting.
you like, if there was anything?
To be honest, a lot of it was the same stuff we've seen. It was just the beginning bit.
There's a few different shots where they're like some closer up shots and stuff like that. And the bit of Leia, I don't know if you noticed that previously when we saw Kylo Ren about to take the shot, but everyone's like, hold on a minute, but all the guys in the background are very calm. But in this one, they look like they're moving around a bit more, like maybe something is going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I just loved the whole Luke on that was wicked, seeing him on the Falcon and starting it up, and that was cool.
So yeah, I mean, obviously the Falcon is sitting there on Achto, and we didn't see Luke with Chewie, but Chewie's there. You know, we know that. Exactly, and he gets his porg. That's his lunch for later, right? I can't remember what podcast I was watching, but someone said, you know, what if the porg becomes Chewie's new co-pilot?
What if the porg becomes a recurring character? That's what I will hate.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, look, BB-8's there for the cuteness, right? We don't need a chicken puffin creature. But yeah, it was cool seeing Luke get onto the Falcon. It was all in darkness. I like that, like it was all shut down, you know. And he's sort of, you can see him like looking around, like, oh man, haven't been on here for a while. And then it all lights up, which is pretty cool.
It was cool.
It was
so cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, unless you've got any more to add about that, then we'll get on to the next bit.
I've got another story for you.
Oh, go on then.
Battlefront 2 launch trailer.
Oh,
forgot about that bad boy, didn't you?
Yeah, I did forget about that. I did watch
that.
it. I'm trying to remember what happens in it.
Oh, it's bloody amazing. I'll tell you what happens.
Was that the bit with the Kylo Ren bits in it?
It's got. Well, there was two things released.
Okay.
Obviously, because I mentioned last week they had that Paris convention going on, games convention.
Yes.
So they've on Instagram and that they've released all the gameplay for all 14 heroes now, and Star Wars HQ put them all together in one video, which is wicked.
I've seen them all on Twitter individually.
Yeah, but you can see them all as one big go, and the two that were released this week were Yoda and Kylo Ren, so you get to see their gameplay, which looked wicked. But also they released the actual official launch trailer too. So, and it's basically game engine footage, and it's got Ray on Jakku fighting a load of First Order troopers. Then cuts to Hoth and people on Tauntauns, so it looks like you get to ride Tauntauns.
Oh, cool.
Then it cuts to Yavin with ATST shooting all the bombers on the ground, attacking the base. You get
this is multiplayer, right? All this stuff.
It's showing all of it, yeah.
Right.
They're showing attack on Naboo. They've got Kashyyyk, loads of Kashyyyk shots, which looks wicked. And with droids and a downed Star Destroyer. Apparently, you get to fly through and go into
that's cool.
on Kashyyyk. That looks good. That's all Clone Wars era. There's a nighttime shot on Endor with the AT-AT in the dark, and its lights come on, and but they're shooting stormtroopers.
So maybe
so it's obviously rebels taking over the AT-AT. So that'd be wicked. Again, I think that's one of the game modes.
Right.
So like you've got to get the AT-AT across or something. And
so that'll probably be a single player bit.
No, I think that's going to be.
Yeah, because obviously single player you play them.
You get more of the space battles. You get the Starkiller base outside and inside.
Wicked.
You get shots of that. Rebels attacking. Flame troopers. Droids. Bit of a Darth Maul. Yoda.
It comes out when? In 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks or next week?
Yeah. For people who pre-ordered, it comes out on the 14th. Everyone else, it comes out on the 16th.
Cool.
And I also heard that if you are a member of EA Access or something, which is I think if you play on the PC and you're a member of EA Access,
right,
you actually get it on the 9th of November.
Oh wow! So PC players get it early.
If you're part of this EA Access thing, which I think is some kind of subscription thing, which I'm definitely not, and obviously I have a PS4, so I couldn't get it anyway, even if I wanted to. So,
but you just sign up, right? If you had, you just sign up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. If you're a PC player, yeah. But again, I don't know what EA Access is or how much it costs to do that, whether it's worth it. But
I think it's probably free. It's probably like Uplay on Ubisoft and stuff like that. Don't know,
mate. Don't know. All I know is that it's available early for people on that. So I cannot wait. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm more excited about this game than I am about The Last Jedi.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because it's imminent, and two, I just love what I'm doing with it. If it's going to be anywhere as good as the experience of Battlefront 2, the original, I'm just going to be loving it.
Of the original old version, not last.
Yeah, the old Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
If it's anything like that, if it feels like that, but now I'll be a happy little Colin.
I think the bit that made me most look forward to it was the single player trailer. I like the look of the campaign, and if you get to do a whole bunch of different stuff rather than just running around shooting, then I will really like that. And of course, I enjoy the space battles. So, yeah, I mean,
I think that's what I liked about some of the the download content that came out, the DLC content that you had to pay for on the last game.
Yeah,
because some of the game modes were different. Like, I really loved the Outer Rim game mode thing where they had extraction, where you have to follow this thing that you're getting from one place to the rebel transport.
Right.
And you're one team. Obviously, if you're the rebels, you've got to help get it to the transport. If you're the Imperials, you've got to stop it.
Right. Yeah.
And I just love that mode. It's so good. But because they did it as part of the DLC, it was literally limited just to, you only get it every now and again on the cycle. It's just like, just stick it in the main game, which is again why I'm so happy about all the future content being free. And that,
that's good.
Because then everyone can play everything, and it's just not. And also there were stories. They've released more information about how the upgrade progression's going to work, and how like all the key guns and stuff are only going to be available through upgrading, not just you can't buy them on the crates, that kind of thing. You've got to earn them basically. So if you want to upgrade your gun as a heavy trooper, you've got to play as a heavy trooper, that kind of thing.
And do you then find the upgrades in crates? Is that how you do it, or do you collect some skill points?
Yeah, because you then become eligible to get those upgrades.
Right. Okay. Because it sounded before like you just get some random bits, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's still randomness to a lot of it, but like key things,
right? You've
got to get to a certain level to be able to actually access them.
Cool.
So you can't just literally pay for it on day one and have everything. If you put
I'm glad about that, because there's nothing worse than playing it and then someone comes along, they're all fully kitted out because they've spent like an extra 60 quid on it or something.
Yeah, and they've also talked about, I don't know if you're aware of the epic star card elements too, because with when you pre-order you get an epic Yoda upgrade.
Okay.
But apparently those ones you won't be able to get those in crates or pay for them. The only way you'll get the epic upgrades is to actually play.
What does that do then?
I don't know if you remember from the beta, but there were different coloured upgrades. So there was either a silver or a bronze or a gold one.
Yeah.
So these epic ones are like the total awesome upgrades.
Okay.
So we're getting a Yoda one for people that pre-ordered.
Right.
But for all the other characters, you've got to earn them. You can't buy them.
Right. Okay.
So again, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's a lot of news coming out about this game now. They're really trying to push it. I think there's a lot of people like me who, were put off a bit by it. So they really want to try and get everyone back on board, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I will say, if you want to know info about this game, I really recommend the YouTube channel Star Wars HQ, because every day they're uploading information. They're really on it, so much more than I ever would be. So if you really want to know the latest info on what's happening with Star Wars Battlefront 2, I really recommend that channel. So.
Awesome, cool, nice little plug there for Star Wars HQ. Hopefully they'll return favour.
Robert. My
cool.
Robert.
Cool, that'll be good, man. I'm looking forward to that. It should be good fun. We can be crap on it again together.
I can't wait.
So, I think that's it for Around the Rim then, right?
Yeah, I've had enough Around the Rim.
So, what's the other bit that we're going to talk about?
Rebels Review!
Yeah, so episodes
Rebels
5 and 6 of Rebels.
Yay! I watched them yesterday.
You watched them yesterday. I watched them a few days ago. So, and everyone knows that I have memory problems. Look, I can't remember what they're called either. But
deleted them.
What can I say? What can I say? So episode 5. I've mentioned before how I zone out, right? Episode 5, I don't remember very much about, because
episode 5 was about Ezra getting intel that Lothal.
Oh yeah, they went back to Lothal.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, they went back to Lothal, and they went into a bar, didn't they? That was being run by an Imperial TIE fighter pilot.
And also So the big thing for this episode was that actually Lothal's been really ramped up in terms of being taken over by the Empire.
Well, it is Price's home planet.
Yeah, and so now obviously when he left, it was, they were having skirmishes, but it was still pretty much normal place. Now it's completely under Imperial control.
Yeah.
As they came into orbit, you can see like devastation of the planet, where things have been gone off. Obviously, Ezra's storyline now is all around how he feels guilty about ever leaving, and he's been moaning at Mon Mothma about going back to try and free what's it?
Free Lothal. Yeah, Lothal.
And she reckoned that they couldn't spare the ships because it's so heavily guarded now and all those kind of things, so it's have to be a little small unit. And the whole reason they were going was to get some information on a TIE Interceptor, wasn't it?
That's it. It's the TIE Defender, right?
Yeah. Was that the second episode? What was that?
Yeah, that was the second episode. That bit happens in.
What happened in the first episode?
Well, this
or
is
it the same story?
It's the same story. It's all connected. But
because that's when they went to the bar.
That old guy that was on Lothal at the beginning. I can't remember his name.
Look,
let me just say this: I zoned out during episode 5. It kind of.
So did I.
I don't know what went on. Episode 6, I liked a little bit more. It started out, the first thing you saw was a loaf cat, and I went, oh god, they're going to make me watch this shit. Anyway, then,
loaf cats.
After a little while, Thrawn and Price and that lot turn up, and I was like, okay, alright, now we're getting the Imperials coming back, some big hitters here, and Ezra steals the TIE Defender, and then there's a chase, and this was the bit that I enjoyed. I really did enjoy how they had the TIE Fighter chase go on, with the TIE Interceptor.
Let me stop you though, Jay, because you missed out a couple of critical bits.
Okay,
one,
the
first
story,
of all,
which I don't really know what the hell's going on.
Well, first of all, let's just go back to the episode 5 because we haven't really talked about this bar yet.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's this Imperial bomber bloke who I think we've seen before.
They all kind of look like that anyway.
But from Ezra's face, it was like, oh, he's going to recognise me. So,
and he did. He said, "Don't I know you from somewhere?"
Yeah. Now that was weird that he was put in charge. He brought a bar, and and that whole what really annoyed me in that bit was again a black trooper, death trooper, being in charge of a squadron of stormtroopers and talking to everyone. I got the feeling from Rogue One is that the Death Troopers were just an elite group, and that they didn't interact with the rest.
I think they're elite troopers. I think what it is that we can't understand what they're saying. So their helmet is designed so outside their helmet you can't understand what they're saying. But Imperials will have internal comms, right? Oh, so I would expect that they across the board can understand. Because if I'm a Death Trooper and I'm standing, there's a couple of Stormtroopers near me, I can't communicate with them otherwise. So they would be able to understand each other. At least this one sounded like a dude.
Yeah.
Right.
But even so, it was just like, why are they ordering around? If you've got Marines, the Marines don't work with other troopers, do they? They work as Marines.
Yeah, but if they're on a battlefield and they've got split up, they're split up with other squads.
But they were hanging around a bar.
That's
true. They were guarding a bar.
That's true. They were guarding a bar.
Why were they guarding a bar?
I have no idea. Well, this bar used to be one where they had a few levels. Yeah, because we met that old Rhodian who was Ezra's uncle or something, like way back there. He was hidden down a hole. Remember, he knew his parents and stuff. So we've been to this bar before the Empire got there. Now it's all done up in black, and it's baddie bar. It's a baddie bar. So it seems that the Imperials like to let their pilots run bars. That happened.
But apart from that, not much else happened in that. Yeah. It's really an Ezra and Sabine story again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Them two are a little gang.
And again, right? So as we go into the next episode, as I said, I like the chase with the ships, and then gone.
I was just going to say, I was shouting at the TV when Ezra and Sabine were trying to sneak onto this bloody TIE fighter, whatever it is, and there was a couple of moments. One which I'm sure you loved was the Lothal cats and the stormtroopers making those two stormtroopers completely idiots, and the fact that why that stormtrooper didn't just shoot the cat,
right? Because he would.
I was thinking, this is going to be a bit harsh. They're shooting the poor little cat. But they didn't. They chased the cat, which was it's just insane.
It just wouldn't happen.
And then, no, but then straight after that, obviously, she's on board the ship trying to nick the thing and then realises it's got all this stuff that they should nick. And then, obviously, Thrawn does land.
Mm.
And what I was shouting at the TV the most about was, shoot Thrawn! Just use the guns. No one knows you're in there.
He's right
there. You can kill them now.
Yeah.
Just kill them.
But no. But no,
then
they don't.
But then she does. Then she actually takes off.
Yeah.
And doesn't shoot Thrawn, even though he's right in her sights.
Yeah.
Flies round, has a little scuffy, and then tries to shoot them.
Yeah.
And then he's shooting the ship like Joker in Batman '89, and she's missing him like. I'm like, what is this?
I know. But we get past that retardedness, and they have their chase. And I did that they had. I think Price gives the command to do something to their ship, and it ejects the wings, right?
Like the toys,
like the old toys, right?
Yeah.
But it only ejects 2 of them. Conveniently, the bottom one lands as a little sort of ski thing, and it lands right. And I'm like, oh come on, man, because you gotta kill these guys. You gotta start killing them off. I'm sick of them surviving.
When he started, because Ezra does say at the beginning of episode 5, he's not leaving. He's basically going to stay now and look after this.
Yeah.
So it sort of gives in some ways, I was quite glad actually, thinking actually this is giving him a purpose, and he's going to be the hero of Lothal, and that's his story, that's his journey.
Although he still has to die. And either he'd
die,
he has to die. He's like the most powerful Force user in the galaxy.
Yeah,
something will happen. Luke's around already, so we need to get rid of these guys, right? And
so then obviously when they've crashed, they bump into somebody, don't they?
Oh God, I hated that, man. The talking Lothwolf.
Now he wasn't properly talking, or she wasn't properly talking.
Well, it's kind of. It did say a few words, didn't it? It did actually say.
Why did it knock out Sabine? That's what I didn't get.
Apparently, it was to do with not knowing if it should fully trust her, and because it does trust Ezra, so it didn't knock him out. And then the last thing it said to Ezra is Dune, which is Caleb Dune, which is Kanan. That's his real name. That was the last thing it said to him.
Now, is this supposed to be Ahsoka?
Apparently not. Dave Filoni said it's not.
Oh, good. Because that was going to annoy me if it was.
Yeah, it's just.
But I like the wolf. I thought the wolf was cool.
Did you?
Yeah. I thought it was stupid. I mean, it doesn't need to be mystical and talk whispering things in his ear. But just the actual wolf is cool.
If it was just like an animal,
a normal wolf, yeah,
I'd be cool with that. But I hate the whole they all just like talk to him and stuff.
I don't like mystical wolves.
No.
I thought it was a nice wolf at first.
It was like the coyote in The Simpsons when Homer's tripping. Like, 1 minute it's there, then it disappears and stuff, you know.
Yeah, that I don't need. But if they were just having a badass wolf that he could connect with using the Force, I like that.
We've seen Obi-Wan ride on different creatures and stuff, so I'd be fine with that.
Well, from the beginning of Rebels, Ezra's had the ability to work with animals, hasn't he? That's always been one of its Force powers. So, absolutely. Cool wolf, I would like.
Yeah.
Spooky wolf, not so keen on.
Overall, though, I didn't feel like these episodes did much for me. I liked the TIE Fighter chase. That was it. That was the only bit I liked.
I think they are... In some ways, they're moving the story on a bit. At least I think we're getting now a sense of what Ezra's destiny is going to be.
Yeah.
Kanan's useless. What is the point in him?
I know, right? What is the point of Kanan?
I hate the way he walks around like he's not blind.
Yeah.
Really does my head in. I don't mind him using the Force to see.
Of making him blind if he's not going to be blind?
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. And like, he almost kissed Hera. Popeye arms.
Yeah, until they got interrupted. They need. I just want to get to a point where they move it along. I want it to start to be. Because I don't feel like the rebels are under any threat. at all. And I feel like right now we should start seeing the Empire are starting to get the better of them, and we start to see the rebels are on the back foot and that kind of stuff, And I don't feel that way at all. And also, the Rebel Alliance is.
I think we got that
around.
a bit with the beginning of the Saw Gerrera episode. Where they, Mon Mothma obviously didn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. These episodes, the first one was nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It didn't seem to happen.
I can't rate 5 because I barely remember it.
I mean, I'm not sure about these double episodes. In my mind, the individual episodes aren't long enough to do anything meaningful. So I'm glad they're not just doing short episodes, because otherwise it will be full of crap stories about Chopper looking for a nut or something.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding is, because they are literally treating these as just long episodes with a break in the middle, really.
Yeah.
All of them so far have really been like one episode, but just broken in two. There seems to be more filler in the actual story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So rather than making the most of having a longer episode and doing more, they're just extending what would have been a short story.
Yeah.
Because effectively, this was, over those 2 episodes, the story was, we've got intel about a new TIE fighter on Lothal. We need to get the information on it. That was the story.
Yeah.
So it could have been done in the half an hour episode.
In a short episode, a 20-minute one, yeah. I just think they need to... I hope that it just needs to ramp it up a bit in the next ones. I mean, there's only 15 episodes.
It's the pacing of the show. It's the pacing of the show that's wrong. That's why it's feeling shit, I think.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, look, there's 15 episodes this season, and we're already done 6. So stuff's got to start happening now. Are they going to leave it to the last 2 episodes before anything
I think
happens?
so. I think what happened is that, again, I think they've got the timings wrong with their episodes, and so, because I don't think there is actually much more to say, is there? Let's face it. What is there left to tell us in this story?
And I think one of the
how they all died. That is it.
Yeah, one of the problems for me as well is that
we're a cheery bunch.
I like the imps. This band of rebels. I've never really taken to them, so I don't really care for them that much. As I've said, I like Hera, I like Zeb. That's about it. So I don't really care what happens to these guys, and that for me is a problem, because it's hard to get on board behind them. 4 seasons. I'm still like,
care.
Whatever.
I mean, I go back to when this first started.
I
really like the first season.
Jedi there. I don't like having.
Well, this is the thing. I think I preferred the first series when Kanan was hiding he was a Jedi and Ezra wasn't a Jedi.
Yeah, that was all right. Yeah.
And yes, I had no, and I think in my head, I had no issue with Ezra being Force sensitive, and I had no issue with Kanan being ex-Jedi but doesn't use it because he's in hiding.
Yeah.
And if they'd have kept that, because I always like to imagine in my head that he became the character from Force Unleashed, the blind Jedi that hangs around in the bar and that. Mm-hmm. That was always my thought. Oh, he might end up being him, kind of thing.
Right.
Even though not exactly him, but this
that'd be
new
version of him, yeah.
Because you can get away with one Jedi who's in hiding getting away,
and also if when he did open his lightsaber, they went a Jedi, like they were all surprised.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool.
Now everyone knows that there's 2 Jedi hanging around. And like I say, it really has. And also, what I don't get is why Vader's not around.
Yeah.
Because if there were Jedi's around, Vader would be there. Let's face it. He's got a hard on for killing Jedi's.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Jedi all but extinct, except those guys who.
But this is the thing. There's no way the Emperor and Vader would be letting 2 Jedi's hanging around.
Hell no, especially ones that are causing so much trouble.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. These guys have killed more Imperials than Luke and all those guys did in all the movies.
Yeah. Well, we've got 5 years effectively of them, haven't we?
Yeah. And you see their powers. They're like, these are the most powerful Jedi ever. Vader would be like, I need to get rid of these guys. So yeah, and you know what? That's what they should do. The next bunch of episodes should be Vader comes back and just kicks their asses for the
Do
rest of
you
the
think we will
season.
see Vader?
I
Do you
think
think
we'll. I
Vader
think
will be the one to
yeah.
kill?
I think we'll see him again. I don't
If
know.
they don't, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they'd have to, right? If he's gonna kill any of them, it's got to be Vader.
Well, they've lined up Thrawn to be the baddie, haven't they? But
What's Thrawn gonna do against someone with a lightsaber?
stare at them and think to himself in a weird voice and imagine.
Yeah, I hope that Vader comes along and kills them. You know what? Episode 5, as I say, I can't really remember much about it, so I'll give it like a 3. Episode 6, I'll give that a 6.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. I'll give the whole thing a 6, to be honest. It's one story.
Yeah, so we'll give it a 6 then in that case. And that's for me only because of the TIE Fighter chase. That was the only thing I liked. It's cool seeing that TIE Defender flying around. It's a pretty cool ship. Hopefully we get those in Battlefront.
Yeah, again, it'd be nice to know why those ships didn't make it into anything else.
Apparently that was from one of the Knights of the Old Republic games or something, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Don't know.
From one of those old games.
Yeah.
So they just brought it in. So yeah, that was that then. Rebels again, for me disappointing. A lot of people loved it. I know.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I know they have a lot of fans. I mean, Rebels has a lot of fans. I know a lot of people really like it. You know, they'll put Star Wars on it and they'll buy it, right? So
I mean, there's an element of it that is good. I mean, it is like a nice little group in a family. You can get why families like it, little young families and kids.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, they're going to like it, but
I think my biggest problem with Rebels is these two powerful Jedi running around. I think I really dislike that, and yeah, that's it really. That's probably the thing that pisses me off the most. I mean, as I say, yeah, I'm not a fan of the Mandalorian bit, so I don't like Sabine. But Hera, Hera's meant to be this badass pilot, and I'm like, cool. She leads a squadron. Like, yeah, cool, man. Let's see some more of her. We really didn't get much of her throughout the whole thing, to be honest. You don't really get a lot of Hera.
Do you think she died in the Battle of Scarif? Because I'm just wondering why she wasn't in the Battle of Yavin.
I don't know. I kind of
because we don't hear whether she survives.
I think this will end at that battle. I think that will be the end of this. We'll see her at that battle. But a friend of mine said, "Wouldn't it be amazing if we do see her at that battle and she dies when Devastator turns off? She just crashes straight into it."
She's one of the crashes.
That would be an amazing ending.
That could be the end of Rebels. They could all be on that ship.
Oh, that would be fantastic, eh? But
they could be celebrating in the plans, couldn't they? Yeah, we're going to escape.
That would be amazing, and you know how happy it would make me. But as I say,
that would be the entire series. That'd be made it all worth it for you, wouldn't it?
Totally, man. Well, but as I say, I like Hera, so I'd be quite happy with her surviving, and maybe one of the spin-off movies that we talked about earlier. You get to see some of her missions. That would be quite cool. That's a character.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if she does survive, why she wouldn't have been in the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
How they explain that.
Oh, that's going to be on the next special edition. You're going to see her fly past in the background.
Woohoo!
She'll fly past, take out like 6 TIE fighters, and they'll just add an extra scene. And then she flies off. Then Luke shoots the Death Star.
Spectre 1 coming in.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. I don't know. I'm sure they'll try and work out an explanation for us. Right, so I think that's it for this week, isn't it? We've been rambling on for about an hour again.
Another short episode.
Oh yeah, we do try. So I'm going to quickly say where they can find us, which is they being the listeners. You guys are listening to us right now, the listeners. So you can find us on Facebook at Star Wars Conversations. That's the group that started it all. We're also on Twitter at Star Wars Convo. You can find Colin on Twitter at
Captain Colin.
You can find me on Twitter at EagleEye1933. We're also all over the internet on places like iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, anywhere else that you can find podcasts, and you'll find us if you just type in hashtag Star Wars Convo or Star Wars Convo or Star Wars Conversations or anything to do with us. You can find us there if you really, really want to. And Colin, there's one other place where they can find us. Where would that be?
The Taylor Network of Podcasts, a beautiful safe haven of podcast goodness where you're going to get all your geeky pop culture needs met through a wealth of different podcasts on different topics, including Nothing's On, Double Page Spread, Gotham by Geek, Go Trek Yourself, Paradigm Shift, Spirit of 77. There's a million of them. There's so many good podcasts on there. Just listen to them all.
Listen to them all. Just give up your job and listen to them all.
I like I do like No Apologies, but Nothing's On is good at the moment. They talk about a lot of TV that I don't watch, which is interesting.
Because then you don't have to watch it; you can just hear about it.
Exactly. Just hear about it.
Awesome. Right, cool. Well, that's it for us then. So until next week,
Punch it, Chewie!
May the Force be with you. Always.
Thank you.